Saurabh. Thanks for your time. Thanks for joining us today on this next episode of Going Digital.
Hi,
Uh,
Siddharth. Good morning.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to have you on this discussion today.
My pleasure. It's
We
all my pleasure. Please.
Yeah, so we typically like to bring in authorities in the field so that we can give their expertise to our audience in the shortest time possible. So today, the topic for our discussion is demystifying machine learning. So one of the biggest buzzwords in the digital space today is machine learning. So like any other hot technology, it's not so well understood, and there are a lot of misconceptions and confusion about it. So we thought in today's discussion, let's try to demystify machine learning so that business people, CXOs alike, they could understand what this is about in simple language. Also, why it is important to them and how specifically, what do they need to know to leverage this technology in whatever initiatives they're taking when they reimagine their business. Does it sound good?
Absolutely, it does. Yeah.
Maybe the first question I would like to ask you is, what is it? How do you like to explain machine learning to a line of business person, a person like me who doesn't have that much background? What does it do, and what kind of business problems is machine learning trying to solve?
Okay, so basically you are asking me to compress my 8 week course into probably 8 sentences, and that's going to be a tough thing to do. But I understand what we're doing here. So let me just put it in this way that machine learning is an uncomplicated way, just a new way of problem solving. It can be applied to most of the problems that business people face in the real world, where the market is dynamic, where there's uncertainty, and machine learning just comes in and says that, you know what, I can predict some things for you. That's about it. And what it does its predictions on is historical legacy data. So whenever it finds some data, it reads some insight in the data, finds some patterns, and then converts them into some business predictions, some business insights. That's about it. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. So, you said that it looks at patterns in data and tries to make sense of it. So, what is the kind of business problems that it is trying to solve? Why did this become necessary?
All right. So there is no right answer to this, Siddharth, but I
Sure.
will probably try an analogy here, and probably that will make a little sense to you, because when there's no right answers, you have to strike analogies. And let me talk about those two earlier times when disruptive technology just took businesses from here to there.
Yeah.
One was when electricity came in, and suddenly electricity was the answer to solving all human physical constraint problems. So electricity would do things in 1 minute that probably 100 people would do it in an hour, something like that. You know what I mean? And then came internet. That was the second disruptive technology that came in, and that also took businesses from some other dimension to some other dimension. And there was no clear cut one kind of a problem which either electricity or internet really addressed. And that is what we will see with AI. There's no clear cut one kind of a problem which we will see AI solving. It's just that what electricity did in the physical space, artificial intelligence is going to do in the mental space. Electricity came in and it took over and replaced the and made the physical world economical, where 100 people doing something in 10 days, and electricity could make it possible for one person to do it in 1 day. Similarly, decision making is what artificial intelligence is going to affect. And some decisions that business leaders take 10 or 15 days or even a month to make, artificial intelligence is going to do that in runtime. That's about it. So I would say that it's not limited to marketing as a domain, or probably even to unmanned cars or things like that. Whenever we have some data, whenever we have some information, ML and AI can help us solve it. That's how critical it's going to be. And all it takes is data. So if you have data for a particular aspect of your business problem, you can probably count on the fact that AI and ML is going to make it much, much more easier for you to come at decisions, and you can employ yourself at something much better and let these decision-making things be done by AI.
So, Saurabh, as I said, the machine learning aspect, we want to just delve a little deeper here. Based on what you're telling me, it sounds like very similar to what an analytics tool will do. I've got a set of data and I can analyze that data and I'll get some, insight out of it. So what is it that specifically something like machine learning is doing? And I'd like to demarcate between artificial intelligence and machine learning so that we don't have two things being discussed. So specifically machine learning, if I have to look at, would you like to just give a little bit more detail about what does this technology do, and what does a line of business person need to know about it?
That's amazing. So that is one of the modules that I run in my course, which is how does machine learning differentiate from traditional software programming, which is also a problem-solving tool. Now, what a traditional software engineering tool really does is it does everything on a rule-based engine. So if you have if then else commands where you see that if that happened and this happened or that happened, so this will happen. Machine learning in that sense is a complete paradigm shift because it learns on its own self. That is the basic difference I would say when you mention find the difference between normal data analytics tools and machine learning. Machine learning is going to be here and learning on its own. That is the big difference that data analysis and machine learning based data analysis and data insights is going to present you. You don't have to keep programming it again and again. Obviously, there's some finishing always required. There's always some tweaking, some dashboarding required in machine learning as well. But here we have an engine which learns on its own. And that's the beauty of it. So you won't require an army of software engineers going into the code again and again to derive and provide new insights to the computer, to the machine. The machine will do it on its own. And that is where we see that this is going to be really disruptive.
Very interesting. So we are saying that we are trying to avoid the need for many software engineers to keep making the software that I'm using in my business process more intelligent. So it's the machine that has been programmed in such a manner, the software has been programmed in such a manner that it keeps learning and getting more intelligent, right?
Yes, so I would probably just make a point here that probably we are not trying to replace software engineers that do away with the software engineers. It's just that those software engineers which do not adapt to machine learning, which do not adapt to data science, they will become redundant over a period of time. So we will still require software engineers to create these machine learning algorithms customized to your needs. But these are upgraded software engineers who know machine learning, who know data science. That's what I would probably say here. This is a question that keeps coming to me, Siddharth, just like you posed. What is the big difference between AI and ML? And because you set the context right over here that we're talking to business people here, we're not talking to data scientist nerds. Let me just go back to the analogy of electricity. Now, let's say we were sitting in 1915 and we were talking about electricity, that, hey, what is this big deal about electricity? And I came in and told you that, hey, Siddharth, listen, there is this Y circuit and there is this delta circuit, and there's this resistor and there's this capacitor. I would lose you. From the business point of view, you're not interested in that.
Yeah.
You just want to know, will electricity help me solve my problems and should I go into electricity? And the answer would be, strong yes. That's what I would say, that right now, in this particular context, in this particular video, I would probably not want to demarcate between machine learning and artificial intelligence because you don't really want to know the difference between a Y circuit and a delta circuit. Or let me just become technical. Machine learning, the most primary basic machine learning algorithm is a linear regression. And in artificial intelligence, the most primary single layer perceptron with a unit activation function is again a linear regression. Now that doesn't make any sense to you. So I can tell you that probably artificial intelligence, in a very, very tongue-in-cheek manner, it is like machine learning on steroids. That's about it. That's about you as a business person need to know. There is many other things that you need to know as a business decision maker, as an industry leader, as a business leader about artificial intelligence or machine learning than knowing the difference between them.
All right. So is this, I mean, based on what you're telling me, it sounds like a topic that CTOs of software product companies should be worried about. Is it also a topic for CXOs to think about machine learning?
No, not really. Right now, we should not be worried about it. It's only a deep dive curiosity that will probably enable them to understand what AI and how AI differs, what AI means, and how it differs from ML. At this point of time, I think my advice to the CXOs of the world would be understand machine learning from a superficial point of view, understand it as a tool, and understand it as either machine learning or the artificial intelligence, whichever you want to know. Understand it as how and what kind of problems will either of these help you solve. Then it's all about, do you want these problems to be solved in runtime? Then go for artificial intelligence. Do you want these problems to be solved over a period of time? You can go for machine learning. And the other clear distinctions will also start becoming more clear when you again deep dive into it, but not right now. I would really actually want the business leaders to dive into this because this can consume you and this can confuse you. So be wary of it. For instance, to use electricity, Siddharth, you don't need to become an electrical engineer. You
Yeah.
just need to know that I have to do this in the electrical department or whatever, whatever you want to call it. That's why you don't really need to go into the engineering of artificial intelligence or machine learning to be able to use it or to be able to decide whether I want to use it or not. But when you question that, what is the difference between AI and ML, we're actually going into the engineering bit of it. So we should probably be wary about it and keep away from it.
So, Saurabh, you said that there's no need for CXO to know this machine learning in great detail. But then, what would be those chunks of things that I must know as a CXO that helps me to take decisions about usage of tools that have ML in them? So, what are those key things that a CXO needs to know about machine learning?
That's a brilliant question. That's where the course is designed, the course that I do. So machine learning right now is a black box. And just imagine that there is a scissor in the black box, any tool, a stapler in the black box. What you need to know is what can the stapler do and how do you use it? You don't go into the engineering of the stapler. So what the CXOs of today need to know is a superficial problem solving flow of machine learning, which means data collection, data hygiene, data engineering, and then till what extent do you want to play around with the data before you pass it on to a machine learning expert, and then sit down with a machine learning expert and ask them that what insight can you get from this data, or backtracing it. If you have a problem to solve, you sit down with a machine learning expert and tell them what data do you want for me to collect for you so that you can provide me with this insight. So there's some legacy data already present with the CXOs. There's one flow which is how can you move ahead from the data, move forward from the data, provide it to the machine learning engineer, and then sit down with them and find out what is the insight that can be derived from this legacy data that we already have. And the other thing would be, which is more futuristic, what is the problem that you want to deal with? That is, that's a hurdle for you. Sit down with a machine learning engineer and then find out what data is required. This superficial flow is the only thing that the CXO needs to understand, but definitely needs to understand, because this is something different. This is already a paradigm change. So if they think that they do not need to understand this flow, then they're going to be losing out. Then they will remain the analog leader, not the algorithmic leader. They need to become algorithmic leader. They need to understand this algorithm that is happening.
Okay. Would you like to share maybe some clear-cut use cases, where machine learning could help in an organization? What kind of use cases? Let's take a couple of industries, maybe one or two industries, manufacturing. Let's take retail. Maybe you want to just share some ideas of how machine learning can be utilized, in these kind of industries.
Right. So Siddharth, in my experience, I've worked as an AI consultant also. I'm also working currently with SMEs and trying to AI enable them, preparing for them for the future. I have seen two places where AI right now is making difference. One is customer experience enhancement. That is one. And the second is cost reduction. So it will probably in the second piece, I'm not talking about extra revenue generation. I'm talking about cost reduction that's thereby increasing the profits. And I'll tell you how both of these things are happening. So let's say you are you have probably 10,000 customers on your on your roster, and you want to enhance their experiences. Machine learning will come in like an Alexa or a Siri, understand your day-to-day patterns, your daily patterns, your minutely patterns, and then customize your product for these customers on a personal level. That is how machine learning will enhance your customer engagement, customer experience. Right? So I just gave you an example of Alexa and Siri, but every single person, every single business out there can create engaging touch points with the customer, keep getting data. And then so that is the first step. If you don't already have touch points with the customer where data is constantly being generated, that is first step as a CXO that you need to do. You better get into that product development, creating those touch points where customers are constantly engaging with you, whether it be through calls, whether it be through a very engaging app, whether it be through an engaging website. But you have to start getting data, and once you start getting this data, you customize your solutions, your product offerings using machine learning on a very personal level for all of these customers. So that is one bit. The second bit is, and I don't want to be insensitive to the human resources over here, but machine learning has a capacity to replace almost an entire kind of category of workforce. And if it can, then machine learning should do it. You should employ artificial intelligence or machine learning to be able to do that. For instance, if I'm a football coach and I have multiple trainers beneath me who are training individual kids, I would look at the probability of at what point of time can I replace these trainers with machine learning enabled or AI enabled football trainers who will be able to answer the same kind of questions that kids are asking the real trainers, but the same kind of questions enabled by AI. When I do that, I'm replacing my entire trainer force and reducing my employee cost. But at the same time, this comes with a caveat, this comes with a red flag that I'm not trying to be non-empathic towards that HR. My responsibility as a CXO, as an organization, would be to make sure that these people upgrade themselves so that I can retain them in my company. But if they don't, I will have to do it with them. But at the same time, I should be able to use these human resources in a much better way, in a much more human role, rather than just simply answering questions. We don't really want that. So there are two places where I think clear cut. I mean, the CXOs don't even have to think it. Take my word for it. They have to think about these two places. One is enhance the customer experiences by making more personal offerings. And the second is cutting down in the workforce, trying to see if some AI engine can replace some part of the workforce. These are two places which immediately can work for these CXOs for these companies.
Great. So that gives two clear ideas about where I can use technologies like machine learning and AI. Specifically in industries like financial services or retail, where there's a lot of data being generated. Can you think of any use case where machine learning could be useful?
Well, I mean, if you think about the financial sector, if you have a personal finance company,
Yeah.
deals with personal finances, they don't need to have analysts sitting down or personal relationship managers or probably relationship managers, yes, because that is a more human role, like I said, that requires empathy. But to be able to churn out numbers on a learning basis, numbers are still being churned out by these finance companies, but can you create an intelligence system which can keep churning out numbers and keep learning on a daily basis? For that, you don't require a human being anymore right now. Those particular pieces of the workforce can be replaced by a machine which is doing its job on a daily basis. And what do you do with those people who have been replaced? You convert them into more human relationship managers and connect with the customers in a more human, more empathic. And that is where I think the real value is going to come in. Because there's one thing that we all need to be mindful about, Siddharth. The more and more we get machines and we become dependent on machines, and machines and artificial intelligence, powered engines are being pushed towards the customer front, there's going to be much more need of human empathy. Much more need of human empathy. People are already talking about, just like intelligence is being coded artificially into machines, can empathy be coded artificially into machines? There's artificial empathy is a completely new industry, and I'm trying to make my learnings in that because it is going to be of real essence. Because tomorrow, when 80% of the customer workforce is actually machines, we will require artificial empathy. So the idea is, again, wherever you need people, right now you have people churning out numbers, playing with data, trying to identify patterns, trying to come up with some decisions. We will not require that anymore. But those people are going to go towards a more human side. A very small example that I normally provide in my courses is, let's say there is a teller who is counting cash in a bank. You don't need a teller anymore. The machine will do it for you. What does the teller do then? Probably becomes the relationship manager on the back floor. You get where I'm going? It's a very simple kind of a case study, but this is going to happen with machine learning in all parts of every industry.
Sounds good. So, Saurabh, from a CXO's point of view, who is planning to run certain digital initiatives, maybe around improving customer service, maybe around improving my manufacturing effectiveness, productivity, maybe about employee engagement or whatever it is, right? So, uh, vis-a-vis a normal software which automates a process, if there is a software or digital software that basically incorporates ML in it, machine learning in it, what specific benefits do you think they could derive, by using software that actually utilizes machine learning principles in it?
Quick decision making. That is the primary value proposition that machine learning brings to you. Very quick decision making, whether be it in a day's time for something that took probably months, or a minute's time for something that probably took days. That is probably the key, and I would probably say the only real value proposition, but a big one. So that's probably my concise, precise answer here.
All right, sounds good. So, Saurabh, thank you so much. This has been fairly enlightening and a lot of practical points also made by you. Thank you so much for your time. And we look forward to staying connected with you to have more such insights on the digital space. Thank you so much for your time.
Siddharth, my honor. Thank you so much.